We are in for a phenomenal homecoming where history and legacy are on the line. And it's NXT versus TNA. Will we be inspired? Will a path of purpose be fulfilled? Do you still believe? And will the knockouts take over NXT? This and so much more as we come together to discuss TNA Slammiversary. And this is Simply Predicting. Welcome to the discussion. Hello, everybody, and welcome back here finally, once again, to another edition of Simply Predicting. You know what this is. I am the simple man of the simple brand, the voice of the SRS Forever Grip for Professional Wrestling, damn it. My name is Noel Foster, and I am definitely Mr. TNA in this family when it comes to this generation of talent. And how fitting, because as always, with me is my friend in WWE and NXT, particularly the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. And thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. If you want to dictate the conversation, Super Chat, PayPal, the patch is as simple as that. And of course, your opinions also matter. Let them be known in the chat as well. And if you haven't filled those predictions already, they're all over my social medias, and they will be in the comments feeds once these streams conclude. That being said, JJ, good to see you. Shout out to Datila, by the way, my mighty NOLA TNA friend. Go follow her, folks. Good to see you, though. How are you? I couldn't think of a more fitting duo to cover TNA Slammiversary when it comes to a preview, because it's literally TNA versus NXT.
Well, as always, sir, it's good to be seen. Glad to be here. You know, glad we're finally able to get this in due to migraines and sleep and home issues and technical difficulties. And
right.
It's just good to finally be here discussing Slammiversary, which I still feel in my heart of hearts is their main show of the year. I know a lot of people argue me about Bound for Glory, but they were having Slammiversaries and anniversary shows before Bound for Glory was a thing.
I know.
You know, as a matter of fact, the first pay-per-view they actually did once they got away from the weekly format was Victory Road. So you could actually argue that that is their premiere show of the year, because that was legitimately their inaugural 3-hour show.
Right.
But before Victory Road, you still had the first anniversary pay-per-view, the second anniversary pay-per-view. Then you finally got to Victory Road. So they were having anniversary shows, which became the Slammiversary, before they went to the 3-hour format. So yeah. I will forever stand on the hill that this is their premiere show every year, and that is why the Phenomenal One is coming home on this show. Not that for Glory, and we will be discussing that later on.
Well said, JJ. As somebody that literally told me about the genesis of TNA and WATNA one-night pay-per-views for a penny, to say at least. Wesley, good to see you. And I do understand where you're coming from, because I'm pretty sure Slammiversary is the longer running versus Bound for Glory. And considering the implications of this year's Slammiversary, it arguably could be not only TNA's biggest show there, it could be one of the biggest shows in TNA history to date. But that being said, I'm definitely looking forward to this, but I'm also a little bit approaching with trepidation. So I think without further ado, JJ, Sleepy Predicting community, Wesley, and Darren, good to see you in the chat. Professional wrestling fans, TNA faithful like I galore, new and old. Let's get right into it. Again, folks, this is TNA Slammiversary. It is available on pay-per-view via the TNA Plus app. It is on tomorrow night, Sunday, July 20th. It, of course, has a countdown before the actual show begins, which I imagine will be on TNA Plus for all subscribers and all viewers, as well as TNA social media feeds. We have 2 matches on there, and, of course, we have a main card of, I believe, 9 matches overall. So this should be very interesting, as well as a phenomenal homecoming. I can't say that enough, because I still can't believe I might actually hear "Get ready to fly" one last time. If that happens, I will not be responsible if I jump out of my sheet and cut my feet.
I want to hear the OG I Am. As great as "Get Ready to Fly" is, at the end of the day, it's just a remix of I Am. As great as it is, I want to hear the OG. If the innovator of the X Division, the inaugural X Division champion, is coming home, I want to hear his OG theme.
do a timeline. Like, do that first, like the subtle, and then do the get ready to fly. Because I want the biggest pyro on the green lace. I want the whole shebang. I want the spark rain down on him. Even if he does have the soccer mom hair, I would love if he bust cut his hair like he did in the old days. Okay, I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself, and I'm also putting way too high. At the end of the day, this is still 2025, and this is TNA. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. And again, folks, we'll be coming here tomorrow at the Sumo Studios. I have no idea who's on the call with me, but one way or another, you're going to get whatever I am to you. Don West, Mike Today, Joey Styles. I don't know. I'm Noah Foster at the end of the day. And
when it comes to TNA, you are Mike Today.
Oh, bless your heart.
Fair enough. Are Mike Today, and James would be Don West.
Yeah, accurate, because that boy sometimes don't know how to control himself. Appreciate you, James. All right, JJ, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the one match that I didn't put on predictions for because, like AEW, they did have another match, not necessarily the day of or the day before, but pretty much after the go-home. And as to be sensible to everybody, I do have a cutoff when I make these forms, so I'm not driving everybody insane, including myself. But let's go ahead and talk about the bada boom, realest guy in the room. How you doing? Because, folks, this is not Photoshop. Take a look at this crazy crap. Real one. Yes, Enzo Amore, the real one with, I can't believe I'm about to say this name, Zilla Fatu, who I still believe is the House of Glory and also is a champion, I believe, in the reality wrestling promotion with Josh Bishop. Look at this freaking trio. Damn.
That is correct. He is reality of wrestling champion and House of Glory crown jewel champion.
Thank you, JJ. Taking on Vince Warner, the might I add, still TNA International Champion Steve Macklin after a insane triple threat with these very two men. And a tag alongside him is Jake Something. I had to do it. Damn it. Jake Something. It's TNA versus the Fourth Hope, as they called themselves. Enzo Amore's TNA debut. I still can't believe this is fucking happening. I mean, JJ, this is so what TNA's always been, the mega of the wrestling business, welcoming all to showcase and showcasing everybody that they can. But look at this friggin' trio. You got House of Glory, reality of wrestling. You got the real one who's been down in friggin' Florida and CCW, and Josh Bishop is a friggin' tank. And now you got this freaking sum of TNA defending their home turf. So again, battle lines drawn. What the hell happens here?
Well, obviously I didn't see Impact, so I don't know what kind of brought all this together. But
a video package.
You got to figure the Invaders are going to lose here. But more than anything, with the WWE NXT TNA partnership, you've got to wonder if this isn't a scouting opportunity for Zilla and Enzo.
Talk about Zilla for a long time and Enzo for a long time too. I saw Zilla Fatu live at SummerSlam last year. My section, for Pete's sake.
You know, Zilla has been. We're more than 5 minutes in. Zilla has been fucking up the independent.
Damn fucking right.
Everything, and I missed Jacob in the Indies, but everything that I've heard that Jacob was, Zilla currently is.
There you go.
Out there pounding the scene. And with his lineage, his bloodline, acknowledge, this has got to be a huge scouting opportunity. He's already working with Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's school. He's now working a match for TNA that has a WWE partnership. Enzo, you know, whatever happened, happened. He's grinded and pounded the pavement to try to restore his image, rebuild his image. Much like Matt Cardona, this could be an opportunity for Enzo to eventually come back home.
I never say never, right? Freaking never say never.
I don't expect them to win, but I expect them to put on a hell of a showing, and I expect the team of Warner, Macklin, and Something to pick up the W.
Well, I'm not going to overkill a gimmick. So, again, this is going to be something. And, I mean, it's one of those things where, again, sometimes in combat, you draw this respect. But also, you have this company pride. And when it comes to TNA, Something Macklin have made this their home. And Warner's become the southern psychopath that's made this into his own personal playground of violence. And I do think the fact that these three men did share the ring together, they will somehow coexist in the name of TNA, and maybe prove a point that I still can take this title from you, but damn it, this is our turf. However, the real one, former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, who has also gotten himself in fine ring shape, this could be a huge opportunity for Enzo, particularly. I'm so used to Enzo. Sorry, folks. And that being said, it's a little bit too, like I said,
me too. Don't even trip on it. Me too.
Thank you. And that being said, Zilla, again, who's already been turned up in Independence to possibly cross the line and go into TNA to challenge for any championship is not too far-fetched. I'm just curious how long Zilla, the real one, and Bishop have had this unique alliance, because it looks like they have their own name called the Fourth Hope, whatever that means. So whether or not that's truly trademark or something that just binds these two together with an independent sense relationship, I'm very curious to see how this trio works out, because this is going to be a first-time showcase to me of these three together. But I'm still thinking of a TNA contingency, something Macklin and Warner.
You said they're called the Fourth Hope, like the number fourth?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a Star Wars reference, because episode 4 is A New Hope.
Yeah, Fourth Rope. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Oh, rope. Okay. Never mind then.
That's my bad. I just noticed. You see the symbol. There's literally 4 ropes on that ring. So I'll give myself that one. Botch. But anyway, I mean, Fourth Hope, though. I mean, it could be a Fourth Hope, honestly, for those 3 men. And
shout out to our boy DJ in the chat.
Wrecking Ropes. And again, you're not wrong. And shout out to Working 99, all that are watching. But yeah, I think it's going to be a fun way to kick off the night in what's going to be a unique presentation, where I don't think this is going to be the only time we're going to hear Fourth Rope and TNA in the same sentence. Okay.
No, not at all.
Well, that being said, let's go to something that
real quickly before you move on. Shout out to DJ and Rockin' Ropes. They did their own preview of Slammiversary yesterday on their episode. Nice. So if you're on the X, on Spaces, check out Rockin' Ropes and listen to their thoughts as well.
And you can follow him, of course, at CornyFan8876. If I knew DJ was available, I would love to have him be a part of this conversation, but this is great. Again, I love doing some predicting with a diverse economy of the wrestling community that truly is open-minded to all things wrestling. And that's why you and I founded this family in the first place, that started off from a fever dream talk with Jeff, me, and James back at Turning Point 2021. Boy, how far
he blames me for his love of TNA, so I blame you because you got me back into it.
I tried.
And then by proxy, I got him into it. So
it's just
it's the dominoes trickling down.
So it's something, to say the least. All right, something! All right, I'm done with that. I just had to do it one more time. Because I know if James not on the call tomorrow, I can't get it with that. Damn it. Okay.
You got to do it at least once when he comes into the ring.
Oh, you're damn right. It's my fault. I take the blame for it. It is my fault.
It all lies on Noah and Datila, DJ. They are the two huge TNA fanatics.
For life. And again, shout out to Datila. She's not here, but follow her at Rangers of Wrestling, of course. She, of course, does great work with Burt Macklin sometimes, and does a lot of great Power Ranger stuff. So follow Datila when you can. She might be part of the Snaggers tonight, too. Appreciate you, my pal. Nola. All right, let's go ahead and get into the matches that are on the predictions format in this card. And I believe that this was the first match announced for the countdown, so it made sense. Although I do think they should get more respect, despite what I think of. Not even going to compare them to the past, because it's the present. You got to live in the now to look forward towards the future. And that's why I hope to be inspired and the Elegance brand purge from the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Division. As the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships are on the line, it is the Elegance brand, Ash and Heather by Elegance, with M by Elegance likely in their corner, and that Carney, the freaking personal concierge, taking on my girls, Jessica McKay, Cassie Lee, former TNA Knockouts were Tag Team Champions, The Inspiration. The Inspiration, of course, came back home to TNA and confronted the Elegance brand after the Elegance brand did successfully win against a TNA contingency back and against a lot. Since then, the Elegance brand have been nothing but jealous, to the point they attacked the Inspiration at meet and greets. How dare they? to the point that Cynthia Morella, the Director of Authority, has even fined them. Through devious circumstance, the Elegance brand have held on to the goal with the addition of M by Elegance, while the inspiration looks to once again remind exactly what it means to inspire the TNA Knockouts brand. So, will we finally be re-inspired for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships, or are we still under an era of elegance? JJ, I start with you on this before I go to the Galaxy to see what they said. What do you think? Is this the Inspiration's homecoming back to Tag Team Gold? Or does the Elegance brand maintain their stranglehold? God bless my blood pressure.
Look, it's no secret that I love the Elegance brand way more than you do. Mm-hmm. I find them entertaining, and especially since the addition of Heather, I have found Ash even more tolerable. I just like Heather Reckless.
Fair.
She makes the whole shtick just that much better for me. You know, I compare it to when Tony had Mariah. Ash has Heather. Granted, Tony was already the diamond gem, you know, whereas Ash was the cubic zirconia. But Mariah made Tony's presentation even better. Heather makes Ash's even better.
And with Maggie Lee, they have even more of a strength to them because thanks to Maggie Lee, now M by Elegance, they of course called Spitfire to Splits.
That being said, Slammiversary will be inspirational.
Yes!
New women's tag champions.
Yeah, look, for what it's worth from a character...
There's no better stage to pull that trigger than Slammiversary. Because you don't want to hold off till Bound for Glory in October.
No. And
there's no knockout teams. You've got to move the belts, run it back.
Yes.
Recycle.
Yes. And maybe they actually will make women's tag team wrestling matter again in WWE NXT. Did I say it out loud? That being said, shout out to the 9 team that put your predictions in, including not limited to DJ Whitty, King Kieta, Kimberly, Royal Canadian, Con Andrew, Jerry Slaughter, Emmanuel Dominguez, Draco Dash March, Reed Atkinson, Big _space, best name ever, Rocco, amongst others. It is currently 85% that is inspired versus 16% that goes the Elegance brand. And I also want to add more context to this, despite being personally biased towards my girls, is the inspiration, where I still hold up their moment at WrestleMania 35 was bigger than Kofi Mania. And I stand by that, considering one was obvious, the other one was absolutely deserved and unexpected. Bite me on that. Anyway, we've also seen Ash previously want to challenge for the TNA Knockouts for a championship. In fact, she won that over-the-top rope battle royale, for those that remember a few weeks ago, and is still owed a shot. She believes she should be challenging for the TNA Knockouts for championship at Slammiversary, but Santina Morella, Ava Rain, and Ariana Grace, the liaison to NXT, had different plans, of course, we'll talk about later. We also saw, well, at least I did, again, spoiler alerts for those that did not watch TNA Impact yet, Fatal Influence confront the Elegance brand face-to-face regarding all the gold that was present. So again, this could be some foreshadowing for the future, but it almost feels like to me they want to push Ash towards the TNA Knockouts, or should I say single world championship picture. Because to your point, Ash with Heather is a strengthened duo. It's a complete package. The Elegance brand is truly a complete package right now, despite that Carney. But it is also one of those things where Ash has proved a lot to, I think, many people as a single star in TNA as well, which goes to her worth as a competitor for bigger things later on. And I don't think necessarily the Elegance brand needs to hold all the gold. Otherwise, you're going to hear me have an aneurysm and a rant. But I think that the inspiration is the right point of reset to try and establish a new Knockouts tag team division with the inclusion maybe of NXT, where finally we might get some literal freaking history. So I think that the inspiration should win them here. I am going with the inspiration.
See, and I disagree with you. I think the Elegance brand deserves to have all the gold. But the way you get there is to have Ash and Heather drop the tag titles. That way Ash can go after the Knockouts title, and you can rebrand Heather and Maggie as the tag champions.
Oh, good Lord. Free birth. Or just
then you end up with an evolution style thing where Ash is the Knockouts champion and the other two have the tag belts. You just don't have a fourth to have the IC title, and there's no other women's title in TNA anyways, but that doesn't mean one of them couldn't cross the line and pick up the women's North American title or the NXT Women's Championship.
About to say, Soruka is no stranger to the cross of the line, and we've seen Soruka go to bat for the current TNA Knockouts World Champion. Much of the displeasing, I think, of both Video Influence and the Elegance brand, so you very well might be on to something, considering there's a heat wave in the near future, as well as emergence. But again,
I think that's how you get to that, because Ash is, like I said, she started off as a cubic zirconio. She has gone into a minor diamond. Ash is good. You just said it yourself. A lot of the ex-WWE people that have come to TNA for second chances have really shown.
Yep.
You know, I always go back to AJ Francis. I know how you feel about him, but you can't deny he's on the run of his career.
Yeah, I won't argue
He is doing fantastic work. Ash has leveled up, to use a gaming reference, and be on the lookout for more simply reliable gaming content. But Ash has definitely leveled up from being the 24/7 champion Dana Brooke.
Oh, yeah.
She deserves a run as the Knockouts champion, whether it comes at the hands of Masha or JC. And we'll get there when we get there.
Oh,
but,
yes, we will.
But Ash deserves that run at this point. And then that allows Heather and Maggie, who are the underlings, to be the tag champions.
Maggie Lee is anything but an underling when you look at her height. Daggum, no wonder she's the
fair enough, but you know what I mean. Like they are the right and left hand of Ash.
Yes.
And as spineless as he is, the concierge is the backbone.
Yes, and I hate it when
because he weasels around and makes the moves.
He's worse than a weasel. God. Anyway.
Hey, I wonder if he's going to be going to the Alamo, because I heard that the Alamo acquired the bike from Pee-wee's Big Adventure to put on display there permanently.
Oh, Lord.
They're even talking about storing it in the basement when it's not on display. If you know, you know, kids.
Forever preserved, never to see the sunlight again. Oh, talk about going into the dark. Fair enough. That being said, we're both inspired, but this still should be a very competitive contest. And for all it's worth, good luck to both teams. This should be a good match. Let's go ahead and move now to the actual card. That's it for the countdown, folks. Again, you guys want to actually watch along with us, you got to purchase the pay-per-view. And I literally just did that too. But let's talk about bringing things from dark to light and whether or not you finally, can't believe I'm going to say this, trust the system. Or do you believe in Retribution 2.0? Because look at this friggin' clusterfuck. It's friggin' the system at Matt Cardona versus Dark State from NXT. Literally, these guys have been running roughshod NXT and TNA with no rhyme or reason. Why the system have been the foundation of TNA since those letters were brought back to life. Now, the inclusion of Matt Cardona is quite interesting considering his history with I need my Brian Myers. And of course, Brian Myers, he still goes to bat for his friend. So much so, we've already seen Matt Cardona get a singles pinfall win over Eddie Edwards, despite Alicia Edwards' interference. That being said, it's still TNA versus NXT, where Dark State have assaulted these guys on all fronts, and they're sick and tired of it. So it's an all-out war, but it's definitely just traditional 8-man tag. I'm expecting chaos to ensue, but this is very unique considering you have a united front versus 3/4 of the system, not even the strongest component of the system. And I don't even think Alicia Edwards can fend off these freaking pit bulls, whatever you want to call these strays. So, JJ, again, NXT versus TNA on full display here. Talk about saying the pace for the night. We keep wondering, is the system due to fail? Maybe finally go into the dark. Does Dark State finally unplug the system, or does Matt Cardona help the system fend off NXT? You muted yourself.
Okay. So, for what it's worth, I heard that one member of Dark State is out and Sean Spears is going to be replacing him.
Ooh.
So that kind of kills the unified front, because now you've got part of the Colleen running with Dark State.
That's weird. Okay.
That also makes you wonder if the rest of the Colleen will be ringside or not. You know, because Izzy Dame can isolate Alicia Edwards.
Yeah, that's true.
But then you've got Nico Vance and whichever member of Dark State is going to be on the outside. So that gives Dark State the numbers. My biggest bone of contention with this match is I feel like it should be on the countdown, despite the fact that the system and the fact that I still don't trust them.
Right.
Have been arguably one of the biggest things going in TNA these last couple of years, and they deserve a main show spot.
Mm-hmm.
I feel this should swap places with the Knockouts tag titles.
I agree.
That said,
this is weird. Because
I'm gonna for one night, because the major players are back together, I am going to trust the system. But I think a lot of it has to do with if the Sean Spears statement is true and if the rest of the calling is ringside. Because if they are, that gives the numbers advantage. It also gives the opportunity to set up an NXT story where the Colleen and Dark State don't trust each other and end up costing them the match. So it really could go either way, depending on how many people are ringside.
It also could lead to a very dangerous alliance with Dark State and the Calling if they somehow coexist and believe that there's strength in the numbers. And again, the fact that Matt Cardona, to your point, is back with his former major player, Brian Myers, it's literally out of circumstance. Matt Cardona was on a freaking 401 beatdown by Dark State before the system came to his aid. And while he wanted to, align with Brian Myers particularly, Brian Myers did say, my allegiance now belongs to the system. Especially to that Eddie Edwards pep talk, where in case people don't know, Eddie Edwards was the one that started the system, not Moose. So it is one of those things, though, with Eddie Edwards being one of the longest-term veterans of TNA and Impact Wrestling, it is one of those things where it feels like, again, you're defending your turf. And I just don't know. I just feel like, for me, with this whole Dark State thing now and disarray, even more confusing than before, I think I do have to trust the system here and go with the system at Cardona for the win. It's also one of those things where I don't think Dark State necessarily have lost yet as a team as far as their actual unit goes. So technically, if they do lose here and it's not Divisional 4, I think that protects their mystique in defeat. So either way, I'm going with the system and Matt for the win. But this is going to be weird to say the least.
Yeah, I feel like the WWE contingent is going to pick up some victories throughout the night. So they can't win everything.
No.
They've got to take an L somewhere.
Well,
and I think this is one of the places where they take the L. So, Datila, if you are watching for one night only, I trust the system.
Someone timestamped that, 28 minutes. Charles saying Dark State's winning the match. Let's go ahead and see what the rest of y'all guys say here. Again, folks, get those predictions in. Looks like about 79% are going to trust the system and always rate Matt Cardona. 21% are going with Dark State. And again, I think that goes a lot with the unknown about them because we haven't really heard anything about them. They've just been running roughshod across both NXT and TNA as of late. Let's not forget, the last time we saw Dark State outside TNA, they assaulted the TNA World Championship picture. Just saying. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on into our next match here, where we're going to focus back on TNA only. And we'll see if we're going to be impressed. Once again, is the result undeniable for a diamond. Here comes the heat, folks, because Tessa Blanchard is going one-on-one with the current House of Glory Women's Champion and also multi-belts. Impressive, Indi Hartwell, because the Heart won't quit. Indi Hartwell and Tessa Blanchard have been at each other's throats as of late ever since that Knockouts Battle Royal, where basically Tessa and Indi have blamed each other. We've also seen that Vixen, Victoria Crawford, go to bat for Tessa Blanchard. And Indi Hartwell, of course, did put Victoria in her place, but I would not rule her too far away from being involved in this match. Indi Hartwell literally confronted Tessa Blanchard while she was on commentary and says, Tessa, you and me, one-on-one Slammiversary. And for those that know Tessa Blanchard's history, she has quite a track record here at this very stage, including what many still deem as one of the greatest matches that ever happened in Slammiversary history against someone of the opposite gender. While Indi Hartwell, of course, is looking to become the knockout, she probably has to now go through the knockout of the past before she turns into a nuclear bombshell. But the past be damned, this is the present. Let's look towards the future. Tessa Blanchard, Indi Hartwell, one-on-one for the first time ever in TNA. And believe it or not, folks, these two used to be friends in a bygone era, and that's some crazy shit. Before I give my prediction first, let's go ahead and see what you all guys say here. And it looks like, based on pedigree alone, or heat magnet, 69, I kid you not, 69% of you are going with Tessa Blanchard. While it looks like 32% of you, 30, excuse me, can't do math, 31% of you are going with Indi Hartwell. Jeff's not the only one that can't do math sometimes, folks. I'm torn on this one, but also Tessa Blanchard's had a mixed singles record when it comes to particularly the championship. But this is a non-title bout. So far in non-title action, she's undefeated in singles action. Indi Hartwell, this is her second match on a premium TNA event, and this is TNA pay-per-view. This is also, I believe, her fourth singles match in her young, literal starting TNA career. But could one of these two be going on possibly the challenge for the TNA Knockouts or NXT Women's Championship? If I'm going to see that for somebody before the other versus a triple threat, which just seems like that's been happening too much lately in the wrestling business, I'm just saying, too many triple threats. I want to see Indi surprise me. Slammiversary is going to be about history, but I want to see upsets. But I can't help but think that Vixen Crawford is going to be in Tessa's corner. So even with that outside magnet of madness out there, I do think Tessa is going to find a way to steal the win against Indi. I'm going with Tessa Blanchard, begrudgingly. JJ, what do you think about this?
So I'm glad you brought up the fact that Indi and Tessa used to be friends.
Mm-hmm.
I actually saw and watched the video on Indi's YouTube channel yesterday.
Great.
About 7 minutes of her talking about how she's going to be wrestling her former ex-best friend on Slammiversary.
Yep.
Deep dive into their history, pictures being shown. It was emotional to watch her go through it. All that being said, it makes me wonder if that was a shoot or if that was a work. Because we've been taught over the years that whenever a worker gives an interview or does a promo, they're always working. Or you have to assume that they're always working.
Right. Everything in the business is a work, not a shoot.
So how much of the fallout of their friendship that she talked about is accurate? And how much of it was dramatized for the sake of an emotional video so that when she gets the victory over Tessa, it's just that much sweeter?
Well, to your point, JJ, they've had 3 other singles encounters. Tessa won each and every one of them. Their history goes back to 2017 in Shimmer.
Mm-hmm. So you got to wonder, you got to figure at some point, Indi has to be able to slay the dragon.
Right.
And this is Slammiversary. What better place to do it? I've
Even
got
me,
Indi Hartwell here.
Wow.
Partially because of the video and partially because of the fact that I think Tessa is really trying to restore her name. So much negativity came out about her after the comments that she made and her blackballing. I think this return to TNA is about trying to reestablish her name. And the more she can do to put people over and not come across as selfish, I think is going to go a long way to helping restore the value of the Tessa Blanchard brand.
That's a fair argument, honestly. I mean, if you're going
I've got Indi Hartwell.
If you're going to
and to Wesley's point, keep Candace as far away from Slammiversary as humanly possible. Fuck that bitch. But anyways,
Renegade triggered.
don't forget, Wesley, I have personal beef with her going back damn near 20 years.
Yeah, about to say
So,
that is a real personal. Talk about personal connections. Your freaking beef with her goes further back than Indi Hartwell and Tessa Blanchard in a bygone era of this business. But I can understand what you mean, honestly. It actually would be interesting if Indi won, Victoria attacked her, and Tessa begrudgingly ripped Victoria away from her, looked down at Indi, and walked away. While she still was pissed off she lost, she restored that renewed faith that maybe you guys shouldn't look at me so much for my past. It's one of those very true instances where, JJ, you're having me question myself. And again, folks, your predictions are not final until tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it would be a first-time moment because Indi Hartwell has not beaten Tessa Blanchard. Very few people have beaten Tessa Blanchard in this business, to remain perfectly honest. In the ring, I mean.
And who's to say that if the scenario that you just laid out happened,
Right.
you know, you've got the pen, you booked it, that's what plays out tomorrow on pay-per-view. Victoria Crawford comes in for the beatdown and Tessa pulls her off. Who's to say that can't lead to another knockouts tag team?
Yeah.
We've got Charlotte and Alexa together.
I'm still confused.
Charlotte wearing a t-shirt saying, "We're not friends," but going to Nick Aldis to fight for them to get a tag title shot at SummerSlam. Who's to say that we can't come Bound for Glory, have Tessa and Indi versus the Inspiration?
I'm not going to lie. I kind of do like the idea of that. Just that alone makes me want to see.
You're welcome, Noah.
Damn you sometimes, JJ! All right, fuck it. Let's go ahead and try and break the statistics. I'm going with Indi Hartwell. Fudge me. I'm going to blame you if I lose that point, though. And again, shout out to everybody that is involved in the league. Ashley, right now, holding it down in first place. And I'm only 1 point behind. This can make or break me. Also, damn you again. All right, that being said, we both are going with Indi Hartwell. Indi, don't quit. Get the win. Prove that you are better than your former best friend. This, though, I'm very looking forward to because, again, there's a lot of history, and I watched their match back in Shimmer and, of course, also in MCW. So there you go. Thank you, YouTube. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on from there into
underdog match of the night.
Accurate. You want to talk about a match of underdogs, though? Here are two of my favorite underdogs ever for a brand that used to matter. Damn it. Because 205 Live had a WrestleMania moment, but one of them didn't get it. Now they're looking for it at TNA's proverbial WrestleMania, if we're being perfectly honest. Because here is a WrestleMania 34 rematch at Slammiversary. One-on-one, cannot believe I'm saying this, Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali, the heart and soul of what 205 Live used to fucking be. Oh, baby, here we go. All right, well, you all know where I stand with this, because first off, let me remind you, back then, and I still hold up to the fact that 205 Live mattered, it did not belong on the fucking pre-show. Anyway, that's a whole different bygone era and conversation. Hi, Jerry. Anyway, Mustafa Ali and his order for, and Ali you still trust, the jury and the verdict is still out, has been gone to the wayside, it seems. Even his great hands and Tasha Steelz, who still wants to trust in Ali, went to bat for him when he was at his worst point. And he's been at his worst point since losing to Mike Santana in that Falls Count Anywhere match. Let's forget. Even assaulting the great hands and pushing Tasha Steelz down, inadvertently or forcefully. You be the judge. And it turned out the person that Tasha was talking on the phone was the one person that maybe Ali would listen to. His greatest rival, Cedric Alexander. Since Cedric crossed line and returned home to TNA this time, to face a former foe, we've seen this bit of a divide with the Order 4, to the point we also just saw the Secret Service of Mustafa Ali get destroyed by great hands instead of Alexander. Ali basically says, you took a WrestleMania moment from me, and I never forgot about it, and I want it back. So you and me, one-on-one at Slammiversary. Since Cedric Alexander couldn't talk sense into Mustafa Ali, he said he had no problem being the shit into him again. So they're going to renew their long-standing rivalry on TNA's proverbial greatest stage of the year. And I do wonder, is this going to change the Order 4 as we know it, or restore order to the Order 4? Or maybe it becomes the Order 5. You tell me. All right. Well, that being said, let's go ahead and see. Charles has a thought here real quick. Charles, the proverbial third person on CB dating. I love it. Didn't Cedric won the last match between them? If that's the case, Ali got to win this match. You would be correct because it literally was that one-on-one at WrestleMania 34. Cedric Alexander beat Mustafa Ali, and Ali never lived it down. The heart versus the soul, but we see which one is black and which one's still pure, to say the least. So, JJ, again, I think this was also during maybe your hiatus, WrestleMania 34 at the time, so you probably never even saw that first match where John Cena even gave these two a standing ovation. Now you're going to see it for the first time ever in TNA where Mustafa Ali transcended the X Division Championship. But can we get that same Ali thanks to Cedric Alexander this Sunday night? Does Ali get his win back? What do you think?
To your point, Cedric Alexander to me is the black sheep of the Hurt Business. Mustafa Ali is the dude that had the fucked up Retribution stable.
Exactly.
So both men have something to prove here. If Cedric got the last victory, even though it was 8 years ago, I got to think that Mustafa has to pick up this one here. But it also could be a case of I'm better than you. I've always been better than you. And I will always be better than you.
Exactly.
With Cedric getting the dub here.
Chasing the dragon.
I feel like Mustafa is best when he's vulnerable. And a loss here would expose his vulnerability. Mustafa that I've seen was best when he was coming back home to NXT. You know, the first run here in TNA, you know, when he had the X Division Championship.
He beat Chris Sabin for that, by the way, folks. Just saying.
Yeah. He was cocky. He was arrogant. The whole "in Ali we trust." But there was still a shade of vulnerability because he felt like he had a chip on his shoulder and he needed to prove something. That's when Ali is at his best. If he comes into this match with that, honestly, I don't care if he wins or loses. I'll just be fucking ecstatic.
Could be the best match in Ali's career.
But I'm going to say Cedric wins here.
I mean, again, it's his first singles match in his TNA career. That's also something else to consider. And looking at the track history of Cedric Slater and Mustafa Ali, yeah, they literally have not gone one-on-one since WrestleMania 34, to be quite honest. And even with a follow-up on a 205 Live, possibly even in the dark, Cedric still won. Looking at these results, even on Live and Dark, so nobody even looks at those. Cedric always had Ali's number. Ali has never beat Cedric one-on-one. And here's how close it is with the poll right now with the 20 of you. It's a 10% margin of difference, with the majority going with Mustafa Ali, 55%, while 45% go with Cedric Alexander. It's one of those things, though, where if Ali wins, will he feel vindicated of his past? And could this be what he needs to restore trust in the Order 4 and in the TNA faithful, but more so himself? I almost wonder if Mustafa Ali right now is at a point of breaking right now. Has he lost that confidence where he thinks he could be the greater good for TNA, the face that TNA needs, the great leadership that TNA needs, which was this whole campaign to begin with? Why Cedric Alexander, was he there just to move Ali forward, or try to literally get back to where he once was as the face of 205 Live and prove a point to your point versus what he was in the Hurt Syndicate? It's really a no-lose situation for either man because they're going one-on-one. They're going to show what they're made of. It's the best of the best that they can put against each other. And I do wonder, though, if Order 4 are going to be involved spectating at all, or even Mustafa Ali's Secret Service to try, save the president. I really hope none of that comes into play as far as Secret Service goes, because I think that John Schuyler and Jason Hodge and Todd Steele have too much respect for both these men to get involved here. And clearly they want to trust in Ali, but after this, they might question that completely. But I also think, for my opinion, because again, it is his first singles and he just came into TNA, Cedric kind of needs to get the win here. I think Ali needs to continue to chase that dragon or be in that shadow. Shades of Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, for example. When the hell do I finally beat you? I'm going with Cedric Alexander for the win, but I think Ali is just going to become more unhinged. We're going to get the rematch, but I think there's going to be a sense of clarity and peace and some reflection where we may not see Ali for a moment, and it might change the entire Order 4 dynamic. But I'm going with Cedric Alexander. And I can't wait for this, because this right now could be my match of the night, considering, again, I eat, sleep, live, and breathe off of 205 Live. Damn it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to a match that I'm going to let you spearhead, as you have the original version of this championship. And I believe, if my statistics serve me correctly, in a single run, Moose right now is the longest reigning X Division champion in this company's history. And you just talked about the phenomenal one that set the precipice for this title. Can the young OG from the UK, Leon Slater, make his become the youngest ever X Division champion? Because he finally gets to face the franchise one-on-one for the cornerstone of this company, the X Division Championship. And of course, Leon Slater earned this opportunity, pinning Moose in that 8-man tag back at against all odds, with literally a split-second spear difference at Ultimate X, at Rebellion. The difference between Leon Slater becoming the X Division champion after nearly killing himself, crazy motherfucker, with that Swanton 450 up the top of the truss that I thought for sure he was about to break his fucking neck. And even the wrestling community questioned, what the fuck were you doing? Why Moose, of course, had a stranglehold on this title since being Speedball Mike Bailey and taking out all comers, including the Rado Kid and Kushida. And of course, Moose, the face of the franchise, in my opinion, the face of the system, an all-round complete athlete, formerly the face of TNA, looking to make this the greatest title and be the greatest X Division champion in TNA history. He can't stand the fact that Leon Slater pinned him one-on-one, so now we have this one-on-one match, particularly. And this time, no ladders are involved, no weapons are involved, just two men and the X Division Championship, as announced by Director of Authority, Santino Marella. And with so much promise put into Leon Slater by the Hardys, can he rise up to that promise where we might see the Hardys for the last time here in TNA, but Leon Slater might carry the X Division title banner in honor of the Hardys' name? JJ, I go to you on this. The X Division Championship is the cornerstone of this company. It's the top that shit. It usually is that match that is remembered the most, because this time, of course, is about no limits. Do you finally see Leon Slater becoming the new X Division champion? Or does Moose once again prove not only do you trust the system, you can't beat the face of the franchise?
Do I find Leon Slater becoming the new X Division champion? Yes, 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 yes.
Hey, shout out my buddy Kyle. Good to see you.
To Charles's point, he's got to win the championship. This is the perfect place to do it. Let's make history with the inaugural X Division champion in the building.
There you go.
You know, and again, we'll talk about AJ in a little bit.
Oh, yes, we will.
But if my thoughts for AJ don't come to fruition, and I'll wax proxy on that in a little bit.
No, I know you will.
But if my thoughts for AJ don't come to fruition, for me, the only other acceptable place to utilize him would be to present Leon Slater with the X Division Championship.
So you got Leon Slater making history at Slammiversary in the house that the inaugural X Division champion built for that very title.
Yep.
All right, then. Well, believe it or not, I agree with you. I think that Leon Slater has been long overdue for this moment. Tested and trialed by the system itself, pretty much his entire TNA career, we're being honest here. He already proved he could pin the man in multi-person action. He proved he could go to death-defying heights with no fear of repercussion or literal concussion, if I'm being perfectly honest. He's the youngest member right now, I believe, of the TNA roster, and has a chance not only to make history as the youngest ever switch champion, but literally where AJ Styles might be in the friggin' building, could get a ring endorsement. I think that Moose has done everything he could to make this title feel as big as possible, considering he's the biggest member on the TNA roster. Again, this title is not defined by weight classes, folks. It's no limits. I think this is Leon Slater's crowning achievement and moment in his young TNA career. So I do agree that Leon Slater will not only endure the spear and survive, because that's been his Achilles heel, I think he will Swanton 450 Moose out of the X Division title picture and win the X Division Championship. Let's keep in mind, the X Division Championship has changed hands over the last number of years here at Slammiversary in one-on-ones and in Ultimate X's. Last year, some people might barely beat Mustafa Ali for this very title at this stage. Let's continue to make history with the X Division Championship at Slammiversary with the young OG from the UK. Leon Slater for the win, and thank you, Moose. And I love the fact that this match is dead down the middle, 50-50, according to 20 people. Because I think they respect Moose, but I think they can see Leon Slater finally winning the title. And I think Leon Slater is tried, tested, and overdue for it. Leon Slater for the win. All right. Well, that being said, speaking of Leon Slater, the Hardys, X Division, defining no limits, the past, the present, the future, I did talk about Domino Effect, and I did talk about the Hardys said in a very humble, somber way. It was last year at Bound for Glory, JJ, in the charismatic Enigma's own crazy creation, Full Metal Mayhem. The Hardys not only returned home, they won the TNA Tag Team titles. Well, now we're back home in a Hardy staple, a ladder match, because the Hardys will now get a chance to regain those titles in a four-way ladder match for the TNA Tag Team Championships. The Rascals, smoke them if you got them. I also want to point out that Trey Miguel will not be at Slammiversary because he will be going into a hernia surgery. So all the best to my friend from the 419, Trey Miguel. I believe that Myron Reed will be in place of Trey Miguel, just to give you all an update. Myron Reed, of course, no stranger with the Rascals, and Sacramento's former X Division champion, former multiple-time TNA Tag Team champions, taking on the Nemesis, Nick and Ryan Nemeth. Hey, that guy. Of course, known as the Hollywood Heels, if you're looking at their banner. The Hardys, of course, definers and innovators of TLC, of the ladder match, of the Extreme, and first class, for what it's worth, Casey Navarro and AJ Francis. Of course, we saw what Casey Navarro and AJ Francis almost accomplished at Ultimate X. So pretty much not much to say here when it comes to the match itself. The only thing that defines you is your fear of heights and your imagination. Whoever climbs the ladder, seizes the title, they are the TNA Tag Team Champions. And of course, the Nemesis do own wins over the Rascals and the Hardys, while First Class decided to stick their name into the championship picture. So again, fatal four-way, anything goes, all hell's going to break loose, bodies are going to hit the floor. It's a high-stuttered encounter here for the TNA Tag Team titles. I'm just wondering how many ladders it takes to keep AJ Francis down for the count, because I have thoughts, personal-wise, that if something does happen, it's going to be the ass of the night for me. So, JJ, what do you think about this fatal four-way where the Hardys kind of said if they don't win this, maybe they should retire? And could that added pressure lead them back to the TNA Tag Team Championships? Could we possibly see the Hardys and Leon Slater all with the gold? It'd be an interesting picture, to say the least. What do you think?
First of all, I want to point out one small correction to something you said.
Please do, because Paul told me. After Slammiversary. Oh, okay. After Slammiversary, I will undergo under surgery. I was given a choice, and I chose to be there. I will give my absolute best, because that's what TNA deserves, and you're the fans. A full recovery is expected, as this is a minor surgery. Thank you all for the well wishes and messages. Apologies to anyone I missed and didn't get to reply to. So he will be at Slammiversary. Paul, you asshole. Paul Mead works at Paul Mead, my friend. I'm going to put him out here. Who's also Mr. TNA. You know him, of course. He works at a Subway here, right here in Toledo, Ohio. And he met Trey yesterday, and he was telling me that Trey was not going to be at Slammiversary. So if I see him tomorrow, I'm going to freaking kick his head in. Especially
well, to be fair, that post was put out on July 10th, and we're here now. It's July 19th.
Yeah. So okay. So to be fair, he may have changed his mind. Literally told Paul yesterday because they are friends as well. But still.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
It's possible that things have changed, but that's the last information that I had was from the horse's mouth itself. So
fair enough.
And maybe he was just working Paul, telling him he wasn't going to be there so that when he tuned in and he saw him, he popped harder. You know,
Possibly.
we discussed that earlier with the Indi video. Was it a work? Was it a shoot? But that being said, Trey Miguel undergoing hernia surgery, you can take the Rascals out. They're not going to win the titles. The Hardys saying that if they don't win, then they're probably going to leave TNA. I think it just means they're not going to win. I feel like their contracts would be coming up because they both debuted around this time a couple years ago.
Correct.
So if they signed 2-year deals, then their terms should be coming about up. We know that there's been talk about a final WWE run. They've crossed the line as TNA superstars, appeared on NXT. Only TNA superstars to have WWE merch made for them, except for the Joe Hendry WrestleMania shirt.
Oh, God, you said his freaking name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
All right,
you could have saved it for the main event when we got to him.
I know that we're going to say at least one more time, so I had to get at least in there twice. So we will do that. Continue.
But,
damn you.
So I think that this is basically their send-off in TNA before coming back to WWE. And, you know, a couple weeks from now, the biggest party of the summer is having its first ever 2-night extravaganza. What a night to make a return. Just throwing that out there.
That's a fair point. Gotta make SummerSlam more worthwhile than Cardi B's worth. Continue.
So that leaves the Nemeths in first class. And as tolerable as I have found Ryan Nemeth, teaming with his big brother,
oh, boys. Oy vey.
I think it's time for the Nemeths to lose the titles. So much to your chagrin, I've got new tag team champions, first class. Again, you can give me that sound effect all you want. You just admitted yourself when we were talking about the countdown, AJ Francis is doing the best work of his career.
Oh, Lord.
You cannot look me in the eyes and tell me that the blessed one, Casey Navarro, doesn't deserve some gold.
I do believe he deserves some gold for what it's worth.
And first class has become just as good of a tag team as the Elegance brand has over time.
These teams leave.
They were the guys that you wanted to hate, but the more and more you watched them, the more and more you had to respect and admire the work they were putting in. Stop me when I'm telling lies now.
No lies detected, but also damn you.
So I've got first class.
Okay. If the Elegance and first class both leave with the gold, I'm going to freaking go on a rant.
No, remember, we both have inspiration.
I know.
So we're calling for new tag champs across the board.
I pray to anybody that believes in women's tag team wrestling properly. Okay, well, that being said, before I give you know what? Fuck it. No, I'm not going with first class. I just feel like AJ Francis is there because he's the big man that everybody else is going to try and neutralize. They're going to use Case Navarro to his advantage. I can see some crazy spot where we might see literally a sort of WrestleMania 17 revisit or that triple threat TLC from SmackDown revisit, the spear off the ladder. I do think Jeff Hardy is also going to jump off the ladder because he's bloody crazy, but I think it's going to be a somber note for the Rascals, even if it's not Trey Miguel. Suspension of disbelief aside, if it's Myron Reed and Zachary Wentz, that'd be a first time ever combination to win the TNA Tag Team Championships. I also think the Rascals are in for the longer haul, also being TNA Originals, than the other teams involved. And for what it's worth, I do think that the Hardys can have one last run in WWE for what it's worth before they say goodbye to the ring. And I don't think they need the titles again. I don't. Again, Bound for Glory was a red herring. I mean, freaking Full Metal Mayhem, Charismatic Enigma painting on every ladder and ring mat. You're telling me the Hardys weren't going to win that night? This is Slammiversary. As far as I know, it's going to be a stable black and gold canvas with a TNA logo in sight. But I think that the Rascals deserve the heartfelt moment. And if Trey is not there afterwards, or even there this Sunday night, if things change, God forbid, to celebrate, I think it'd be cool to see Wentz and Reed have a run with the titles for the first time. I also think the Nevers have had them long freaking enough too. So I'm going with smoke them if you got them, no matter what combination you have in store. RSCLS. I'm going with the Rascals for the win. What's up? What? I see you muted. What?
Nothing. I was just throwing up the first class.
You instigate me. That being said, before we move on to our next match, let's see what
first class wins. I expect an apology.
Yeah, put me on the spot there as a man of integrity.
Simple. I'm not going to make no kind of crazy bet with you where you've got to be on your best behavior for every karaoke show throughout the rest of the year. I'm not going to do some shit like that.
Good man.
All I want is an apology at first class wins.
Fine.
JJ, you were right.
I'm a man that could eat crow because once I made you eat crow, so I guess it's fair. Fine, you got a deal. All right. That being said, let's see what the people said real quick before I move into our main events / phenomenal homecoming aspirations. Let's see what you all said here. 50% are actually going with the Hardys. Yeah, right.
DJ co-signing with me because he interviewed AJ Francis, so he's got that AJ Francis left.
Oh yeah, personal bias. I mean, obviously coming into play here, clearly against me. Anyway, the Hardys at 50%, the Nemets at 30%, the Rascals at 20%. Nobody outside you and that guy in the chat picked first class to win. So I hope that the minority horribly bombs this Sunday night at Slammiversary. All right. So that being said,
or it could be the one pick this month that puts me above everybody else. Because I guessed it and nobody else did.
So help me, JJ, if you're freaking right. So help me. I'm gonna. Anyway, all right. Anyway, Rascals for the win. Smoke them if you got them. All right. I hope Datila agrees with me at least. Someone has to have some sanity. Okay, but we only got 2 matches.
Datila is a fan of first class also.
What?
Datila is a fan of first class also.
Well, I don't know if she's in the chat or if she has an opinion. We'll ask her later tonight, but we'll see. I stand by my Rascals and also Killer Goat, Killer Kelly, and Myron Reed, the current Wrestling Revolver champion. Or is it Young Goat? I got to look up that name. Okay, well, we only got 2 matches left and a phenomenal homecoming outlook. So why don't we go ahead and get right into that? And let's start off truly where a match could be very partisan. It's NXT versus TNA for everything. Because Masha Slamovic with Leiling Lee and Zaya Brookside in her corner, representing TNA, will defend the cornerstone of women's professional wrestling, the TNA Knockouts World Championship, against its fatal influence. Down Hammy Jasmine next to the champion's corner, JC Jane. Never in my life would I think I would say those 2 names together in the same sentence, both as champions for every fucking thing. Where I feel like TNA is on the verge of an NXT takeover, God help me. Jesse Jane, thanks to the glamour, Blake Monroe, got this opportunity beating Jordan Grace at Great American Bash. Bullshit. But that being said, we saw Jesse Jane, of course, confronted by Masha Slamovic to the point that Zarya and Saruka went to bat for Masha. And they did get the better of Fatal Influence this past Tuesday night on NXT. On Thursday night, though, we of course saw Fatal Influence confront the Elegance brand, where Ash believes she should be in here challenging for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. But now both TNA and NXT's richest prizes are on the line. We know the story of this, of course. Masha beat Jordan Grace last year at Bound for Glory. Jesse Jane, the biggest what the fuck this year, be standing about cure for the NXT Women's Championship. And for what it's worth, she's proved her worth so far as a title holder. I still believe Fallon Henry should be in this spot, but that's a whole different conversation. So, once again, it's NXT versus TNA, but this time it's for everything. Because 2 of the most effective booked quantity and quality, top to bottom, women's divisions on the front here in America. Their richest prizes are on the line for complete control by one company. And after Carlos Silva looked distraught after that trick Williams stole the TNA World Championship, I can only imagine what he would think and what Santima Rudd and Ariana Grace would think, even though she's NXT, if Jessie Jane and the Fatal Influence ruled everything. So that being said, outside parties are likely to be involved. Are they the only parties to be involved? Does anybody have a clear-cut winner who they want to see hold both titles and face for it all? Does the Elegance brand, if they lose, God forbid, against the Inspiration, could they stick their name in here? Let's not forget, Ash cost Jordan Grace against Roxanne Perez when it came to winning the NXT Women's Championship. We've already seen a bunch of traitors in this roster instigate against TNA for NXT. Freaking first-class assholes. So that being said, who controls, let's just call it what it is, the entirety of women's professional wrestling in TNA and NXT? Jessie Jane or Masha Cervix? Mr. NXT, I start with you on this. Who leads with all the gold at Slammiversary?
Masha.
Good man.
Look, I made the analogy going into Evolution when we did Simply Predicting. I'll make it again here.
Go for it.
And I know you're not a huge movie buff, but you might at least know of the clips that I'm talking about from social media or commercials. Jordan Grace versus Masha Slamovich would have been like the fight from Captain America Civil War between Captain America and Iron Man. Two evenly matched adversaries going toe-to-toe for honor and what they stand in and believe. Masha versus Jessie Jane is like that scene in the original Avengers where the Incredible Hulk picks up Loki and just boom, boom, boom,
I remember
boom.
that. I do remember that scene. I worked at Walmart. They played every Avengers movie on repeat. Continue.
I love Jessie Jane. I have loved her since I came into the 2-point era and she was running with Toxic Attraction. There's a reason I have a Toxic Attraction shirt and hat.
I'm aware.
Jessie Jane is not on Masha's level.
Damn fucking right.
This is Slammiversary. TNA needs to get something in their war, if that's what we want to call it.
Might as well.
I mean, I wouldn't straight out call it war. You know, it's not like WWF versus WCW or even WWE versus AEW.
That's fair, but you got
it's more like an interpromotional rivalry than an outright war. You know, but TNA has to get something because we know the main event's going to be the world title.
It has to be.
And we can't have NXT with both belts, if even for 20, 30 minutes.
No.
So I've got Masha getting the dub here and therefore crossing the line and appearing more on NXT television because out of all the people that have crossed the line, Masha seems to have done it the most sporadic. She's crossed, but she doesn't cross consistently like Jordan did, like Joe does, even like Santana does.
Right? Santana had a match on NXT.
Masha's crossed once or twice, but there's periods of downtime in between her appearances. And I don't think it's for travel reasons or anything. It's just they need the reason to book her. And I think her being the champion gives them that out. And then come Heat Wave, you can have Masha on your PO. Plus, you still got to look at the fact that via the WWE partnership, we know WWE wants to get TNA a better TV deal. What's going to get them a better TV deal? Masha Slamovich or JCG. Masha, with the exposure on the CW, will definitely get them a better team than JC. And trust me, that conversation piece I just made will come up in the main.
Fair enough. And I've heard bits of Carlos Silva talking about how he's been looking for a TV deal by my HW fam, who, of course, can't keep their phones shut off. But that being said, also being reported by No DQ. All right, well, fair enough. Well, again, just being straight up honest here, let's just look at the track record, shall we? Masha Slammers, of course, who lost to, Jordan Grace, who lost to Jesse J by Grand Mega Bash. Masha, as, of course, beaten Fatal Influence thanks to, of course, Lei Ling Lee and Sarah Brookside in her corner. We've also seen, of course, Fatal Influence get the better of TNA in the past. Let's not forget, on the countdown, literally, I believe against the odds, Fatal Influence beat freaking Rosemary's Lei Ling Lee and Sarah Brookside in Switzerland knockouts action. So the field's pretty even here at this point. We've also seen, of course, Fatal Influence confront the TNA Knockouts World Champion, as well as I said, the Elegance brand. So there's a tap feud waiting to brew. It doesn't necessarily need the gold involved. And I think Jesse Jane was one of those things as an out, because you almost feel like if Jordan Grace did win against Jesse Jane, would the result been the same, or would it been different? Because we were talking about Jordan Grace. Oh, she's going to beat Jesse Jane. Okay, and they're going to get Jordan Grace the win back because Jordan Grace has the exposure and, of course, that familiarity. Jordan Grace being the face of NXT and TNA makes perfect sense. And now she's involved in neither. Doesn't mean that Jordan Grace, though, won't come back home to confront Jesse Jane and maybe cost her. That would actually be interesting to me, especially because Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich have tremendous respect for one another. And Masha, of course, she's already been confronted by a few of the NXT talent who would probably like a crack at that title, including but not limited to Zarya. And we've seen Zarya and Saruka work with Masha against Fatal Influence. So, again, as far as momentum goes, it's pretty dead even. Now, Emmanuel calling the red herring out that she grabbed the title, setting herself up for defeat. I don't buy necessarily into that. And we've also, of course, seen other members of Fatal Influence grab the NXT Women's Championship. So there's also that, too. At one point, we thought Fatal Influence was going to fall apart at the seams when they couldn't get their act together. And then Jesse Jane beats Steady Valkyrie in the biggest WTF of the year so far outside Joe Hendry at WrestleMania. But I think that Masha can definitely compete at a higher level against the NXT contingency while holding the TNA cornerstone, where Ashba Elegance, we know, gotta be waiting. You know she's going to get a one-on-one match for one of those titles, if not both. It also comes down to, are they going to just defend both at the same time in a match, or one respectively on each show or each opposite show? There's a lot of unique questions here with one woman holding both titles, but I think Masha is the right one to do so. So I'm going with Masha Slamovich for the win. And again, all hands are on deck to stop that Fatal Influence, because you know they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that Jesse wins. And clearly, I don't think disqualification is going to matter here, because again, it's title for title. It's not going to be a traditional championship matchup, I think. There has to be a winner, right? And whoever wins has to leave with both belts. So I figure pinfall, submission, or count out probably matters. So I got to go with Masha for the win. Defend TNA. Masha Slamovich.
Yeah, and to your point, you know, it's what I've been saying all along about this NXT-TNA partnership. Everyone always talking about how NXT gets the better end of the deal, and I've stood steadfast in my belief that it's a fair exchange. Mm-hmm. You know, oh, well, NXT gets all of TNA's big stars, and all TNA gets is developmental talent. The developmental talent is getting an opportunity to work against experienced veterans before making it up to the main roster.
Yep.
If a first-year student only fights first-year students, you're never going to grow as a performer. But if a first-year student can go up against a 5-year vet, you're going to learn more. You're going to go, if a first-year student can go up against a 10-year vet, you're going to learn more.
Yeah.
That's what's happening in this partnership, is you've got not all first-year students, because JC Jane's been around the block a little bit.
Avery Taylor, it's got like 6 years of wrestling experience.
But Masha's probably got at least 10.
She does.
So there's still close to 5 years experience in between the two of them, separating them. That JC can learn from competing with someone like a Masha. Now, if Masha becomes the double champion and comes to NXT, that's another high caliber vet in the NXT locker room on a consistent basis to work with your Jada Parkers, your Lola Vices, your Ariana Graces. These people that maybe never pounded the independent circuit like a Fallon Henley, Tessa Price.
Thank you.
And it gives them these LFG people, somebody else to learn from other than just their coaches that know the WWE style.
Plus, we're joining Grace.
Because while you do need the WWE style to do good on WWE television, you need to know all kinds of styles.
Yeah.
The WWE style doesn't work against Penta.
No.
The WWE style doesn't work against Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, they have become refined enough that they can work the WWE style, but they're at their best when they can do what they do best.
Damn right.
That's why matches like Penta versus Chad Gable are fucking certified bangers.
Like I said, also, I just want to put that out there. Jordan Grace is in NXT. Jordan versus Masha revisited. Yes, please. Heat wave. Just saying. Anyway, Masha smash. Masha makes history. Masha becomes the face of not only TNA still, but now NXT. Before we move on, I'm going to go ahead and see what you all said here. And it looks like 72% believe that Masha will smash the NXT Women's Champion and seize NXT's richest prize for TNA. I wonder what Ava Raine would think about that too, honestly. I know Shawn Michaels likes Masha, but again, Ava, you would lose your Cornerstone Championship. Just saying. That being said, TNA for the win. Manuel, though, an interesting thought. Do you think Tessa interfering? Well, to be fair, Tessa Blanchard's first loss was at the hands of Masha Slamovitz, and it was via submission. And Tessa loses against Indi, but she still clearly has a target to go after the champ. Again, a lot of moving parts here. I don't know, again, who it truly, when it comes to Tessa, when it comes to certain others, the Elegance brand, are they truly TNA, or are they just there for themselves, quite literally for a championship? I would hope the integrity of this match, outside the graphic that you saw, is held up by Ava Raine, Santina Morella, and freaking Ariana Grace. And if not, they're suspended or fired. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's a reason why we have Fatal Influence in the Champions Corner, and the reason we have these two friends that respect the TNA Knockouts World Champion in her corner. You don't need anybody else involved here. So I'm going to say no, but afterwards, you could have everybody from TNA and NXT show up for all I care, and all hell could break loose, because I want to see who's going to challenge the new unified, I'm going to call it what it is, Masha Slamovitz for the TNA Knockouts or the NXT Women's World Championship. So I'm going to say no. Not during, but afterwards, all bets are off. All right. Well, that being said, we got one match left, but JJ, cause and effect. What's the bigger way we leave an impact here at Slammiversary? With the TNA World Championship or a phenomenal homecoming? What do you want to talk about first?
I want to talk about AJ Styles.
Then let's get ready to fly with the phenomenal one returning home Sunday night, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's fucking official. We're going to start talking about the phenomenal AJ Styles. So let's dive right into the man that literally built this fucking house from the ground up, shall we? The phenomenal one, AJ Styles, returns home tomorrow night, as was made official Thursday night during TNA Impact. I still can't fucking believe that I saw that. So, is it a hello? Is it a one-up? Is something bigger to come? Formerly from the TNA World, TNA X Division champion, literally the man that put this place on his back, on the mat, the 5-time TNA World Champion, Masha had, 6-time TNA World Tag Team Champion, freaking record 6-time setting X Division champion, the same as your boy Kaz. Let's just let our minds wander and enjoy the fact that this guy is returning home to TNA, and pray to God it's one of his TNA themes. So let's just dissect into this, shall we? Hi, JJ. So, what the fuck is about to happen tomorrow night at Slammiversary with AJ coming home? What do you expect? And what do you think of the fact that this is actually happening?
Okay, as far as the fact that it's actually happening, I need you and everybody else in the IWC to shut the fuck up about main roster not coming over. Thank you.
Fine. I won't say anything else about it. You got the main roster guy coming home. You proved me wrong. Fine. Now, you got your freaking...
Jordan Grace appeared in back-to-back Royal Rumbles before she ever appeared in NXT full-time. Royal Rumbles are primarily main roster talent.
Correct.
Joe Hendry fought Randy Orton at Wrestle fucking Mania. Main roster talent.
Correct.
AJ fucking Styles is coming home to TNA.
Correct.
Main roster talent. Kindly shut the fuck up.
All right, you got your hubris out of the way, all Eagle and Page. Let's go ahead now and bring things back to speed here. AJ Styles returning. Okay? Got your moment.
Now that I got that vitriol out.
You got the bask in his glory. Good grief. Okay, go ahead.
Like I said about Leon Slater Moose presenting the X Division Championship, that's only a backup option for what I want to see here on this evening.
What do you want to see?
I don't think AJ Styles comes home and is just a pretty face to tout TNA's anniversary.
I hope not.
AJ Styles wrestles and is inserted in this match, making it a fatal four-way.
What?
AJ Styles wins the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. AJ Styles brings the TNA World Heavyweight Championship to MetLife Stadium and SummerSlam.
What?
You want history. Noah, you want history, right? You want earth-shattering, right? You want something that's going to get TNA a better television deal, right?
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I want TNA to
AJ Styles, the house that AJ fucking built. AJ is your champion.
What the fuck, AJ? Good God!
By proxy, you bring the belt home to TNA because AJ is a TNA original. But you're also getting the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at least until what's next? Emergence or Victory Road?
Emergence is next. Emergence.
At least until Emergence, you're getting the TNA Championship showcased weekly on the flagship show of the WWE on Netflix. Realistically, AJ retains it at Emergence. AJ retains it at Victory Road. AJ puts it on, insert somebody here at Bound for Glory.
Jeez.
But over those months, it is showcased on Raw, SummerSlam, because we already know AJ and Dominic are going toe-to-toe for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, they are?
Possibly making AJ 2 belt. This is how you pay it forward for TNA. This is why I have Masha retaining instead of JC taking the title. AJ Styles walks out of Slammiversary, your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And SummerSlam is 2 nights. Yeah. AJ Dominic could be night 1. AJ could defend the championship on night 2 against Joe Hendry, against Mike Santana.
This boy is turning TNA WWE and WTNA vice versa. That the TNA World Championship at SummerSlam by AJ Styles against insert name. What?
Think about it. Think about it. Think about not just the TNA lineup coming up here. Think about what WWE has coming up. After SummerSlam, Clash in Paris, the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in Paris, France. After that, Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia. After that, Survivor Series War Games.
Well then.
Now, Bound for Glory would be before Crown Jewel.
Yes, I
but
believe
still,
so.
We don't know what they're having in September. Or are they even doing one in September because Clash at the Castle is the very end of August? Are they actually going to give themselves time to build towards something? Or are they going to do like a Bad Blood at the end of September?
That's what they did last year, I think, towards that beginning of October.
But that gives AJ, like I said, at least 2 months featuring that championship on Netflix, on the flagship show, Monday Night Raw, for 1.52 million people to see weekly. It at least allows him to walk into SummerSlam, the second biggest WWE show of the year, and display that championship because he does have a match. And that title wouldn't be on the line. IC titles on the line.
You think Joel
That's exposure.
Yeah, it is. It's also pride to Mike Santana, Joe Henry, a big what the fuck, because this guy all of a sudden inserted the championship picture because he's AJ Styles, recognized. It almost feels like a John Cena complex, but to your point, it is justified considering AJ Styles' pedigree in TNA wrestling. It's a wild thought of booking to think on the fly, but I also think it comes down to when AJ is showcased, because let's be honest here, with all due respect to me being TNA faithful, I know the scope of the TNA audience, even under the NXT-TNA relationship. If AJ wasn't officially announced, it would just be a red herring, and the fans will be wondering, okay, when's it going to happen? Now that it's going to happen, they're going to freaking sell that place out to the Raptors. But is the AJ showing up going to oversight the rest of the card to a degree, including the TNA World Championship picture? Because I almost wonder with how big it is AJ coming home. Do you do it after that triple threat and you confront the champion? Like, he gets his own like moment segment. And you set up something big for him for Emergence or the SummerSlam. To your point, or is it a celebration of not just legacy and TNA history, but his career? Let's not forget, AJ Styles said that pretty much after this last run into WWE, he basically wants to be done at this point. He wants to retire because he's been going at the business for that long. I don't blame the damn man, honestly. He's been in the business now for almost 25 years. But it's one of those things of AJ being inserted in the championship picture the night of versus competing for the championship, maybe the next show or the next big show by WWE where TNA title is showcased on the grander stage in WWE, whether SummerSlam or whatever's after that. It's some wild booking, to say the least, but it's not too far-fetched to see happen from a business standpoint if you want to truly expose TNA. So from your booking, that exposure would have to put TNA on the TV map and finally get them away from access if we want to get away from that perfectly honest, which I do think is the end goal of this NXT-TNA relationship, not just WWE acquisitioning them like people fear. But again, does AJ get confronted? Does he get his moment? Is it after the championship match for the Fed? Does he get confronted prior to the championship match by the champion, Trick Williams? And does people like Joe Henry and myself go to bat for him that have already said his name verbatim, that have so much respect for him? I just think based on the fact that AJ is showing up at Slammiversary, he's got to be at least challenging for that title one more time at a point. I just don't know it's going to be the night of. Because I do think we are in New York. Mike Santana's on that moment. But I also think Joe Hendrick, who's already been on the biggest stage in WWE, deserves to recapture that moment. And let's not forget your court jester Kazarian wants to go to bat for Trick Williams as well. And Kazarian, of course, also has a huge history with AJ Styles. And Kazarian's not even on this card. Now, is that just by sheer circumstance? You tell me. Because you might get AJ Styles versus Kazarian, possibly. Even at Slammiversary or later. I'm just saying. But you inserting AJ the night of the championship, though, it's crazy. But now I kind of want to see it. That's some insane bullshit.
Is it really crazy, though? AJ Styles is a main event player.
Yes, of course.
Okay. TNA has a big four that you actually have to pay for and doesn't just come free with your TNA Plus, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what's the next big four after Slammiversary?
Bound for Glory.
Do you really want to wait till October for that match? No, you don't. No disrespect to Emergence or Victory Road, but that would be like putting this title match on, Backlash.
Yeah.
Bad Blood.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
You want it on a major stage.
But you only got literally less than 2 weeks till SummerSlam, JJ.
But Raw is the next night.
True.
Live.
True.
And let's not forget where they are for Slammiversary. New York, the spiritual home of WWE because of the Garden. They're not in the Garden. They're at the USB Arena.
Yes.
But New York has always been the spiritual home of WWE.
Yes, I'm aware. Oh, my gosh. I almost wonder, honestly, though, could he also be inducted or be announced as an inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame that night and get, his roses at Bound for Glory? Or does he want that? Like, what does...
AJ has said for the record that he does not want to go into the Hall of Fame until he's retired.
The respect. Okay, good deal. So it's not like a legacy thing.
That doesn't mean that he hasn't softened on it. Because, to your point, he has said that he will be done once this contract expires because he wants to retire before 50. He's 48.
Correct. Crazy.
And I don't think he's had his birthday yet this year. So by Bound for Glory, I think he will be 49, which only leaves him 1 year left. So I could see them announcing him for the Hall of Fame next year at Slammiversary because the Hall of Fame is usually Bound for Glory.
Right.
And by then he will have been 50 and will be retired.
Yeah, he's 26 years in the game. He started back in 1999. It doesn't tell me anything about his birthday, though. But yes, he's 48 years old right now.
So,
well, folks, you definitely got
but
some.
You don't want to wait until October for that match. You want to do it now.
Yeah.
Whether AJ Styles starts the show, kind of like how the NWO started that year for No Way Out when they came back. Have AJ come out, cut something, have Trick interrupt him maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
That plants all the seeds for it right there because then throughout the night, AJ can go to Santino Marella, say that he felt disrespected. I'm here doing you guys a favor for your anniversary show, and this punk ass comes and disrespects me. I want in the main event.
Well, you just wonder what Mike Santana Joe Hendry would think about that, though, is what I would wonder.
If AJ wins, he defends the title against one of them at Emergence, the other one at Victory Road.
Or both men lobby for a number one contenders match and somehow dissolves into another triple threat because I do think Mike Santana wants a one-on-one. Because speaking of which, while we talk about AJ, I will say this. Regardless of AJ, who we know, 100% guaranteed, showing up tomorrow night at Slammiversary. I'm just going to stick that there for a moment. One thing definitely needs to happen. I need to hear a TNA theme. Otherwise, I'm going to call this a bust, and you ain't going to change my opinion, quite honestly. Period.
I agree with that. Every time that an ex-WWE star has come home, at least for the first appearance, we got their old theme.
Yes.
Even Fandango.
Yeah, right.
We got the old theme.
That was awesome.
Santino
right.
Morello, we got the old theme.
Yes.
I think we get the old theme here, at least for this night. And then, if my suspicions are correct and he wins, when he comes back, you get your normal, they don't want none going forward. But at least for this show, you get I Am, Get Ready to Fly, or Evil Wings.
Yeah, definitely one of the first two, because there's nothing evil about AJ Styles turning home to TNA. He's over that Dixie Carterland era, but we don't talk about that also. That being said, AJ, welcome back fucking home. Can't wait to see what's in store for you. Let it not be a one-off, and may I see you hold the TNA World Championship one more time before you finally put away the boots. This is going to be, I've said it all night, I'll say it again, fucking phenomenal. All right, that being said.
As far as the actual main event and the people that are booked.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the actual book main event for right now. We've got a lot of great talk and fantasy booking. We want to see AJ Styles challenge for this title, if not win it. Let's give some respect towards what's actually official on the graphic, or at least give them a Morgan Freeman, what if in reality, out of these three men, shall we? Because we, of course, know officially, JJ, as of right now, the TNA World Championship is a triple threat. NXT's Trick Williams, freaking thief of the night. Mike Santana finally looking to fulfill his proper purpose after freaking shattering a champagne bottle over AJ Francis in a ridiculous street fight. And of course, the man that's been the most viral sensation this year in the business. Anywhere you say his name, any stage you want to see him, including WrestleMania, the former TNA World Champion, 250 pounds of pure motivation. The answer to all those questions. And I will say it one last time because his name is Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Champion of champions, damn it. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this match. Oh, and by the way, for those that did score at Great American Bash, bonus point, you had Trick Williams going for the table. You were right. As Mike Santana and Joe Henry both choked center for the table. I love that. Okay, let's go ahead and break this down before we talk about what we think is going to happen in this match versus what we think could happen with a phenomenal influence during or afterwards. Trick Williams, of course, won this title at NXT Battleground against Joe Hendry. Has had a stranglehold on TNA, further encouraged and endorsed by First Class and that clown Cass. But Cass also got his comeuppance when Mike Santana spun the block and took his damn head off in a tag team match where Joe and Mike Santana did coexist. We also saw Mike Santana and Joe Hendry go to bat for one another as they've been assaulted by Dark State multiple times, including at the contract signing at Great American Bash. But right now, Joe Hendry and Mike Santana both have one goal truly in mind, to bring that TNA World Championship back home. New York, Mike Santana did fulfill his path of purpose and promise after a very emotional video segment with his now late great father, God rest his soul. Joe Hendry, do you still believe that he wants to become the face of TNA and the wrestling business per se? Again, this man competed at WrestleMania. The jury is out if anyone's even bigger than him right now in the wrestling business. And of course, Trick Williams, he's there. Trick Williams, endorsed by Booker T, somehow becoming the face of TNA. Talking about the Trick and A era. I hate it. Let's not talk about it. Does he continue to hold his stranglehold thanks to his court jester, Kaz, and his freaking cronies in First Class? And God forbid, do First Class and Trick in their own era all hold gold by the end of the night? Fuck me. What happens with the TNA World Championship amongst these three men with or without a phenomenal influence? That is for everybody to try and decide, to say the least. Emmanuel, I don't like you. I have NXT taking over TNA, Jesse and Trick standing tall. I'm just going to go James here and say, nope. I'm torn, though. I think, again, Mike Santana is overdue for the moment, but triple threat. Even without AJ Styles, we got a triple threat. What's the triple threat formula, JJ? Buffer, fall person. How many times verbatim have we talked about Joe Hendry possibly going to WWE when his contract expires with TNA? You've been clamoring for Joe Hendry versus John Cena, for Pete's fucking sake. Why Mike Santana, he returned home to TNA last year at Rebellion to fulfill this newfound power purpose as a single star and has literally become the new standard of TNA, beating Josh Alexander. Josh saying, I was the standard. You are that now. I quit in the ring and I quit TNA. Now Mike Santana is looking to carry that TNA banner. I look at the longevity of TNA and who should hold the championship, and my mind goes back to Mike Santana having his moment. Whether or not endorsed by AJ Styles or Joe Henry is a whole different conversation. But I think that Mike Santana is overdue for a chance to be the TNA World Champion. And I think you saved Mike Santana and Joe Henry maybe as a farewell match for the most motivational man in TNA history. So right now, I'm holding out for Mike Santana to get it. And I hope he pins Trick. I'm going with Mike Santana based on the graphic to become the new TNA World Champion. Give the man his moment. This is Slammiversary. We're about moments, right? Give the man his moment. Career earned. Mike Santana, new TNA World Champion. Now, I know you're talking about AJ and the influence of a phenomenal champion during this, if not after this. But if in a bygone era, they didn't officially say AJ Styles is going to be at Slammiversary, we only had these three men. Who would you have leave with the belts?
Well, you talk about Mike Santana, hometown, earned, give it to him. But they should have done that with Kaz earlier this year.
The jury is out on that, but yeah.
No, jury isn't out on that. I don't care if you like him or you don't like him, if he's a face or a heel. You can't tell me that Kaz doesn't deserve it with everything he's given to TNA.
I agree, but clearly TNA don't think he does because they didn't give it to your boy. Anyway.
I like Santana. But put it this way, I don't see Joe Hendry leaving with it.
Fair enough.
I either see Joe and Santana evolving and Trick stealing it, which could then lead to AJ coming out and saying, not like that. You've got one more match. You're going 1-1 against me. Or I see Santana picking it up.
There's no disqualification.
I'm gonna go with Santana here.
It just
because I agree with what you said, and I kind of agree with what Datila has said all along, and that Santana deserves this spot. And I think part of the reason he dropped the House of Glory championship is because he knew that Slammiversary they were going to make him the champ.
Well, they wanted to be fully committed to TNA. Let's be honest here.
Well, to my knowledge, he's still working House of Glory shows. He just doesn't have to be there every show now because he's not the champ.
Right. So based on these three, you're going with Mike Santana?
Yeah.
Well, if it makes you feel better, we are not only unanimous, we are also with the majority. 52% with Mike Santana, 29% with Joe Hendry, and 19% with Trick Williams. So there's the NXT contingency. But also, I think it comes back to that fact that, again, we look at Trick Williams more as the guy that we want to be involved with on the chase versus as the holder. Even as a heel, it's kind of been a little bit, I mean, yeah, he beat Mike Santana one-on-one in NXT. That was due to First Class's ass interfering. He beat Elijah bad against all odds. It was once again due to First Class interfering. First Class is already going to be banged up, hopefully really banged up, after that ladder match. But I also know that Kazarian did go to bat for the champion. But Trick Williams left your boy high and dry as Mike Santana spun his block back to California. So does Mike Santana honestly see Kazarian getting involved here again? Does Joe Henry see that getting involved here again? Does Kazarian screw Trick Williams to try and be, a savior of the TNA championship? And now I should challenge because if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be holding the title. So to be fair, your boy still could get a chance at the title if it's back home in TNA. Just won't be in his home turf. We could get Kazarian versus freaking Mike Santana because Kazarian already owns pinfall wins over Joe Henry. Now, if Joe Hendry, by some miracle, if you do believe, because I do still believe in Joe Hendry, if Joe Hendry does win it back and become a two-time TNA World Champion, it does lead to some possibilities between him showing up with that title at SummerSlam, WWE's grandest stage, or finally Kazarian beating Joe Henry when it matters the most, becoming the TNA World Champion, maybe towards Bound for Glory, without the call your shot this time. Maybe he actually gets the championship match, because they might even do the Bound for Glory gauntlet. I don't know. The Bound for Glory series, excuse me. I don't know what the fall season holds in store, but I do know this. That title does not belong around the waist of Trick Williams going into the fall season, in my opinion, for TNA to flourish. I got to see it come back home. So I got to go with the TNA continues to win. It just comes down to who I think deserves it more at this stage. And one person who hasn't gotten it yet, I think finally deserves a chance. I'm going with Mike Santana. He's bled for this. He's fought for this. He's pleaded for this. Last year, he was supposed to be involved in this. And the system prevented him being involved in that six-pack challenge. Give Mike Santana that 1 year road to redemption accomplished here Sunday night. Mike Santana becomes the new TNA World Champion. Now, whether AJ endorses him or challenges him, that's a whole different story. Either way, I want a phenomenal moment, and I want that TNA title brought home. And I do not want to see a fatal influence. Mike Santana for the win. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get to see what you all said. We're clearing the opinions. Pretty good card. AJ fucking Styles. Fuck Tessa Blanchard. Well, there's still people that live in the past. It is what it is. And then I see somebody that's just ready for tomorrow. Should be a cool night. And it should definitely be a cool night. So again, folks, what are your phenomenal expectations? What are you hoping to see? Are you hoping to see something beyond what JJ and I booked, prophesized, fantasized, or premonitionized tonight on City Predicting? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you haven't put in your predictions yet, get your predictions in. As again, we have this show ahead tomorrow night, Slammiversary, where phenomenal things are sure to happen. And we will see definitely, at least I would think at least one brand new champion. Just a matter for what. But thank you all for tuning in. Well, JJ, before we go, again, we got a lot ahead tonight. So any closing thoughts? And let's go ahead and close this thing out. Oh, boy.
This should be an amazing freaking show, and I'm just looking forward to finding out what happened because I'll be at work.
Well, priorities over passions, and of course we have priorities ahead tonight, where of course we will be working with Jeff Mutta and Meacham for a night that's sure to be magical and somewhat deplorable for me, but it is what it is.
But for those of you that have tuned into karaoke nights in the past, Noah has vowed to be on his best behavior and be a good boy tonight because there was no karaoke in June and he wasn't there for the karaoke in May. So he's gone 2 months without having to do karaoke. So he has promised me that he will be a good boy tonight and will be more energetic about it than normal.
The things I do for friends. All right. Well, that being said, folks, yes, that's tonight. Kick-ass karaoke. Back here tonight, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Samoa Studios. Stay tuned for more on that. It's sure to be something magical for some, for others. Who the frick knows? JJ, I appreciate you. Good luck at predictions. I know you submitted yours. Again, folks, your opinions still matter. You have time to change them. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard tomorrow night is where they are. Final, and stay tuned for the link in the forum in the comments down below if you don't follow social medias like X, and also it'll be on my YouTube community tab. JJ, real quick again though, I know they're going to see you again tonight, but where can the people find you?
Find me on social, the X at ROWJJ Williams or Casa D18 Studio. No S at the end of the Casa D18 Studio. That's where I host and participate in the spaces, is under that account. Of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Casa D18 Studios. There is an S at the end of that one. And then you can find me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams.
And again, the spaces, schedule's set to change. We'll update that later, folks. But you can find the spaces in and out with James, with our Canadian friend Ash, with JJ Williams, Walter Cruz, and of course, Rockin' Ropes, where he causes internet mischief too. And again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz. Again, that's Rage of Wrestling. Find him on YouTube. Find him on the social medias. Appreciate the reliable one always. And JJ, no matter what, when it comes to differences, I always appreciate you, as I appreciate all of you. If you wish to further engage with me, find me at Inflawless 9016 on YouTube and on the X here at the Samoa Studios. call in pretty much anything and everything. These guys put me in front of the proverbial commentary booth for.
Yes, I never saw your reply in the group chat. Are you going to be doing the GCW show tonight with James ahead of Shenanigans?
If needed, I think I can. Otherwise, I think he and Ash might have it down. Just keep me posted. I have no idea. Again, folks, find me at Fox 1916 YouTube and the X. And speaking of our Canadian friend, I might be with her Tismatic friend. You can find Ash, of course, as she's also in the jazz of her YouTube channel. Also find her on the X and also find her on YouTube. That's our Canadian friend, Ash, at Batty for Wrestling. But seriously, I'm just ready to go for tomorrow night when it comes to Slammiversary. And again, don't be a dickhead. Also, don't be tribalistic. Remember, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. Whether NXT, TNA, WWE, or something else, international or domestically in between. As I only wish to encourage you to just live and enjoy wrestling too. It's truly as simple as that. And again, the next time we got City Predicting coming up, it will be SummerSlam, the biggest party ever in the history of WWE, and also the biggest party of the summer. I think at this point we're going to go for our usual time slots. So that'll probably be Thursday night, July 31st, 10:30 p.m. Standard Time. Time subject to change. So please stay tuned for more of that across my social medias here at the Simple Hour Studios, where we're always predicting all the wrestling. But for now, I'm going to leave you for the rest of your day with phenomenal thoughts and the fine I do, and enjoy your Saturday. So until later on tonight, for everybody that was involved in the chat, for Emmanuel Dominguez, and please follow Dominguez, of course, on the social medias. The Los Dominguez. This is probably my favorite graphic I've ever made.
Yes, the Dominguezes that have already accounted for $75 in donations for karaoke tonight.
Oh, bloody freaking hell. Doggone them. Anyway, follow the Dominguezes as you see on the social media. Of course, our great friends. This is the money they could be using towards Slammiversary and saving for something else besides the expense of my dignity. But that's not here or there. Follow the Dominguezes, of course, and follow my friend across the pond. Talk about young OGs from the UK. Follow my friend Mary J. Continues to prove that J is worth more than gold. And we'll see you tomorrow. See you tonight for the kick-ass karaoke and the shenanigans to follow too. But I think for now, we will bid you a fine adieu. So for the anchor wrestler JJ Williams, say goodbye.
Bye.
And
bye, guys.
There you go. Thanks, guys. Yeah, of course, Charles, you gotta love it. Well, you gotta do something with it. Gotta give the people what they want. And for me, it's always thank you and a goodbye to and a fine adieu. So thank you for tuning in to another edition of Sleep Predicting, where AJ Styles is due to come home tomorrow night too. We'll see you later tonight for kick-ass karaoke. But until then, make a positive impact in life and have a good night. And remember to believe in Joe Hendry. Have a good one, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I cannot wait for this tomorrow night. Let's fucking go. What the fuck are you doing, AJ Styles? Returning home. Have a good one, folks. I'm hitting the button. Oh, good stuff, JJ. You're crazy, but seriously, you might literally put TNA on a TV network that actually is freaking findable. Wouldn't that be a fucking first?
I can only hope.
We all can only hope, man. We all can only hope.